Topic: Books and reading habits. Which do you prefer, reading books or watching movies? I would say I prefer reading books overall, but I really enjoy both. Reading lets me dive into characters' thoughts and feelings in a way movies can't always capture. For example, I recently read The Fault in Our Stars, and while the film adaptation was great, the book gave me more insight into how the characters experienced their struggles and emotions. However, I do love the visual experience of films. Sometimes, after reading a book, I love watching its movie adaptation to see how they interpreted it. It's interesting to see which scenes were included or altered. Have you ever read a novel that has been adapted into a film? Definitely. One novel I read that was turned into a film is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I grew up reading the series, and I remember getting excited when the first movie came out. I loved how they brought the magic of Hogwarts to life, but I did feel like some details in the book were missing in the film. For instance, the book has more depth into Harry's thoughts and friendships, which I felt added to the story. It's fun to compare the two, though, and chat about the differences with my friends. Are your reading habits now different than before? Yes, my reading habits have definitely changed. When I was younger, I used to read a lot more children's books and fantasy novels. These days, I find myself leaning towards young adult fiction and contemporary novels. I also read more for school assignments compared to when I was in primary school. I've been diving into classics like Pride and Prejudice and modern literature. I also try to read a bit more critically now, thinking about themes and character development instead of just enjoying the storyline. Do you often read books? When? I try to read at least a few times a week, usually during my commute to school or before bed. I find it's a great way to unwind after a long day. Recently, I've become part of a book club with some friends, which motivates me to read more regularly because we discuss the books over coffee every month. I also use weekends to catch up on my reading, especially if I've got a gripping novel that I can't put down. Do you read more or less now than when you were younger? I actually read more now than when I was younger. Back then, I typically read picture books and chapter books. I remember the excitement of getting new books from the library, but my overall reading time was limited. Now, I read more as I'm exposed to a wider variety of genres and authors. I've also discovered audiobooks, which I enjoy listening to during workouts or while doing chores, making it easier to fit reading into my busy schedule. I find that I appreciate stories in different formats now, which helps keep my love for reading alive.